today is a big one. I normally do not talk about this because it's personal, but I wanted to share just in case it may help someone else. And also just to give you guys insight on myself, actually. So let's get started. Okay, so just to let you guys know, if you see me look down, it's because I have everything written out into notes so I can stay on track of where I'm going with this whole story, and so I can remember where I had left off previously. So let's get started. So just to let you guys know, my background religious-wise with my family, my mom is non-denomination Christian. My dad is a Christian preacher. My stepmom, she's a evangelist. My uncle, he's a preacher as well, and one of my aunts is a nun. Me being bullied started at age 6. My depression started when I was 11, and then, let's see. Okay, so therapy. I started therapy when I was 11 years old as well, up until I was 19. That way you guys can stay on a time frame that I'm going with this whole story as well. Okay, so I started to look at other religions and really analyzing them, studying them, and seeing which one fits me. That I started when I was 11, actually. So, for example, like I went over like Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, etc. So, as I'm doing research for everything, you know, I stumble across witchcraft. And I'm like, you know, like I always watch Charmed. I always sing, you know, Willa from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and amongst, you know, tons of other things that involve witches. But I never thought to become one myself. Nor did I ever think to recognize that as a religion even. So it was all new to me to like read into it and find out what it is, you know. It was just very different, and I'm glad I found it. Otherwise, everything that happened to me wouldn't have happened to me, and I wouldn't be where I'm at today and have the knowledge that I have. So when I started out doing spells on other people and also myself. But the very first spell that I ever did, it was on myself. And I remember it was a luck spell. And it worked, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this could be something awesome. Then, of course, it spiraled into me putting spells on other people, such as love spells. And from there, with me being bullied and me being depressed because of my, you know, people bullying me, I remember I started putting spells on other people that was not good. So, just like bad luck, it started out with that, and then it progressed into black magic, which is not good. So with me going into black magic, and with me being already depressed, negative spirits started attacking me mentally. And to those of you who don't really understand, they feed off of that. They feed off of negative energy. They see you as a prey, and they make their move. So everything progressed drastically. So with me already being negatively attacked by these dark spirits, I became suicidal. And already having depression, it just wasn't a good mix. I first attempted suicide when I was about 13. I remember I tried slitting my wrist. And then my second attempt was when I was 16. And I tried cutting my neck. I tried. I remember I had longer therapy sessions after those 2 attempts. I became really not in a good headspace. I thought that everyone was against me. I felt really alone, and I didn't have anyone. I just remember always being alone and wanting to be alone, because that's how I thought. I thought everyone hated me and didn't want to be around me. So I would always isolate myself. The reason why I thought everyone was against me is because something happened to me. We're not going to talk about it in this video, but I went through something that no female should go through. And with that happening, I told my best friend, or at least I thought she was my best friend. She decided to tell the whole school, and by the end of the next day, everyone knew. And I was being harassed in the hallways, in the bathroom, and it felt like all eyes were on me. I don't like attention. And you know what? Since I'm making this video, let me talk about that. People who commit suicide, attempt suicide, and people who inflict self-harm, we don't want attention. That is not why we are doing it. So stop fucking saying that. That pisses me off, actually. So please, don't say that. That's not what we want. We want to feel as though we're not alone. We want someone to be there for us. And to me, that's not attention. It's just having someone in your corner, basically. Someone who's always going to be there for you. And someone that we feel safe with. That's the most important part. So don't say we want attention, because we don't. So after my suicide attempts, the first two, when I was 18, I was dating this guy and I was over his house. He found out that I was a witch. And what did he do? He thought it was like the coolest thing ever. And I remember him getting more into it, and he bought a bunch of books, and he got like necklaces and jewelries and rings and stuff. He painted his nails black, and it just became this new awakening for him, basically. But with us doing black magic, things got pretty crazy. And let me talk about that. One night, he calls me up and he is like scared on the phone to death. I said, "What's wrong?" And he goes, I really don't know. Like, there was something in my room. I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, I was going downstairs in the basement and I opened the door and something shot one of my crystals across the room. And it shattered everywhere." And I said, "What? You mean like a spirit or something?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Oh." Like, I was scared, but nothing had happened to me yet on like a demonic or evil spirit level. Yet, at least. We'll get into that in a minute. So I didn't necessarily not believe him, but I was just like, whoa, like, that's crazy, man. Like, damn. So why did that happen, you might ask? Well, him and I, a week before that happened, we actually performed a bunch of spells, black magic to be exact, on probably 5 or 7 people that was bullying me. I was so tired of being bullied at school. It just led me down a path to dark magic, basically. And it was something that was so easy and I felt empowered to do. I felt like I then had control over how I felt and over my bullies. So I felt pretty damn good. I felt like, okay, I could do this. I could do this to anyone who messes with me. Well, I was wrong. So the next day after that happened to the guy that I was dating at the time, I remember we tried to communicate with whatever it was that chucked his crystal across the room. We use a spirit board or Ouija board, whichever you want to call it. It's the same thing, basically, for those of you who don't know. We tried to communicate what was in the house or his room. Nothing. Or at least nothing at that moment. That night when I went to sleep, I don't know if you guys know this, but you are basically in the spirit world when you're sleeping. You're in their dimension. It is very easy for them to talk to you, show you things, just basically all over communicate with you. It's easy for them. And also, there's a certain time that the veil is thin for them to cross into our world and communicate with us even more, which is, long and behold, 3:30, or some like to say the witching hour, which is 3:33, but most people consider it midnight, just for your FYI. I actually can't remember what time this happened, but I do remember it was like between midnight and 3 in the morning that this happened to me. As I was sleeping, I remember the way I fell asleep. So I knew that my foot was hanging off the edge of the bed. So I felt like in my dream, I remember I looked at my body first, me laying there in the bed. And then it was like as if I was back in my body. But I was still dreaming. So next thing I know, in my dream, I opened my eyes and there was this little girl standing in front of me. I remember she had black eyes, long black hair, pale skin, and she was wearing this red and black dress. And I remember she came so close to my face, and then she touched my calf. And I remember I woke up. And let me explain this more to you. So I wasn't fully asleep. I was half asleep, half woke. So I wasn't necessarily dreaming, which is why I keep throwing the air quotes around dream, because it wasn't. I was half asleep, half woke when I saw the spirit. And I honestly felt her touch my leg. I remember all hairs on my body was standing up and I was freaked out. After that, I could not sleep over his house. I was scared to death. Things progressed from there, which caused me to lead into my third suicide attempt. The third time I committed suicide, well, tried to commit suicide, it was mainly because I would always feel negative energy around me, negative entities and spirits and things like that. And they were just always there lurking. I remember I was getting more depressed than usual. I had more outbursts. I started cutting myself more. And I was already cutting myself when I was 11, but this time it was worse. And I realized like I was doing it pretty much every day. So I just remember one night things just got really bad, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna end this because I can't deal with this no more. I felt like I didn't want to live anymore. I felt like my world was ending. I felt like no one cared about me, just nothing. And I took a bunch of pills. With me taking so many pills, the next thing I remember was I was waking up in a hospital. I remember I was laying there in the bed, and there was this figure that was right here. Then there was the doctor, my mom, and then a nurse. And I remember things were blurry, like it was blurred out kind of. But my vision was like slowly coming back. I remember I couldn't hear what the doctor or my mom or the nurse was saying. I couldn't hear them. I was only able to hear what this figure was saying. When my vision fully came back, it was as if my mom, the nurse, and the doctor was blurred out. But the figure I then saw was an angel. It wasn't my guardian angel. How do I know that? Because I've seen my guardian angel before. It's a her, not a he. And the figure that was standing right there is a he. So I knew it wasn't mine. But I remember he spoke to me. He was telling me that I have a purpose. My life is meaningful. And that I can't end it early. Because if I do, I would then have to basically restart this chapter over. I wouldn't be able to progress into becoming what I'm supposed to be. So after the angel spoke to me, my vision became clear for the doctor, my mom, and the nurse. And I remember I looked back at where the angel was standing. Gone. Like, vanished. Gone. Like, he came down, like Gabriel gave me a message, and that was it. Oh gosh. I remember the doctors warning me that they were going to send me to Sheppard Pratt if I did not stop my attempts at suicide. And those of you who don't know, Sheppard Pratt is a mental institution for people with mental illnesses. So after my suicide attempt, I remember I had prom and also graduation right around the corner. And I had these scars from, you know, trying to commit suicide and also freaking cutting myself. So who wants to go to a prom with that or walk across stage with that? I didn't. So I remember my mom told me about, God, I had a piece of hair there, sorry. I remember my mom told me about Mederma. So I remember you were supposed to use it like 3 times a day. But with the suicide attempt and then having prom and graduation right there so close to each other, I remember it wasn't going to expedite the healing process. So I was like kind of in a panic and debating, should I even go to prom? Should I even walk across the stage? Like, should I just stay home? Like, I'm going to have anxiety anyway. It's like, why go to prom? So I remember at first I wasn't going to. I wasn't going to go. And then my friends, they're just like, well, the little bit of friends I did have, I should say. They're just like, it's your last year. We're about to graduate, about to go off to college. Like, you need to go to prom. And I'm just like, okay. But I remember saying in my head, you know, I already feel alone. I'm still a little bit depressed, but I'm trying to get over that because of what the angel had delivered to me in the hospital for the message. And I was just like, should I go? Should I not? I don't know. So I remember finally, like, I decided to go. And one of the guys that I used to be friends with back in freshman year, actually, he asked me to prom. So my dad, he got me the dress, the shoes, the purse, you know, everything, the whole shebang. And I know this is a dick move, but I just couldn't face walking into that room and seeing a bunch of faces. I couldn't deal with the thought that the whole idea of going in a place that I already feel like people hate me, I'm unwanted there, and going and being there with people who tormented me during this, you know, pretty much whole 12 years of school. So I was just like, you know what? I'm not gonna go. And that was really messed up on my part, and I'm sorry for those of you who are watching this and I did that too. I'm sorry, because the guy who asked me to prom, he already had, you know, what he was gonna wear. He had the limo picked out. He gotten the tickets for us. And, you know, like I said, my dad, he did everything for me, getting my dress, shoes, and all that. And I said no. I said, last minute, I was just like, I'm not gonna go. It wasn't the day of prom, but it was like maybe 2.5 days before, something like that it was. I remember it was so close that I was just like, no, I'm not going. And I remember I stayed home. And I actually stayed home and I was watching TV. That's all I did. I just watched TV. Then, of course, came graduation. And luckily, I still had scars. The Mederma didn't, you know, like I said, expedite that healing process. So I still have scars. And I remember I put on the robe, I guess you'll call it, the graduation robe. And luckily, it came down far enough on me because I'm short. I'm like Hobbit height. I remember it came down far on me enough to cover the scars. The majority of them, actually. And whatever wasn't covered, I just held my hands to the side so no one else could see. And I remember I just walked across stage like that. But after graduation, like after we all walked across the stage, I remember flooded. Halls was flooded with people, and I was just like, we gotta get out of here. Like, I'm about to panic and have a panic attack, and I gotta go. Too many people. So I remember I grabbed my mom and I ran out. And that was that. Like, I didn't want to have any contact with anyone from school. I didn't want to be around anyone. I was like, finally, I made it through this hellhole. Like, I could be alone in my little, you know, my little home, and that's it. Like a turtle or something. Like, oh God, I was just, I really didn't like being around a lot of people. I always had like anxiety and panic attacks and wondering like who's looking at me, what they're saying, if they hate me. And I don't know, it was just altogether not good. So as a graduation present, my mom actually surprised me and she let me get tattoos. And she did not have to sign off on it or anything like that because I was already 18. So the only thing she did was for my graduation present, she just paid for them. And I will insert a clip in this video of my tattoos. On my right wrist, I have Angel. Not because of the angel that visited me, but because angels are immortal. They are forever living. And you know, sometimes they have tasks that they have to come back and complete. That could be in human form, or they could be wanderers, or whatever that is, you know. And so I wanted to represent the times that I tried to take my life. But I was saved by an angel who didn't allow for that to happen. I wanted something on me that was so close to home, to always remind me of that and never forget that. And then on my left wrist, I have beautiful. Majority of the time, me cutting myself, it was me having very low self-esteem. I did not feel beautiful outside or in. And I wanted to get beautiful written in Chinese because I wanted something to help me, remind me of, if I don't feel beautiful on the outside, or even if I don't look beautiful on the outside because, you know, some accident happened or whatever, you know, I'm still me on the inside. I'm still beautiful on the inside. And that will never change no matter what happens out here on the surface. So that's why I have these tattoos. So after I graduated in 2011, I actually spent, I actually spent a whole year getting into white magic and Wicca and reading about it. I started meditating. I started to actually realize that, hey, I am beautiful. What the heck was I thinking all those years, you know? I don't know, like, it was just so amazing to find myself, to realize who I am and not have any demons, negative spirits, negative people, just nothing take over me. I felt whole. I felt like I had a purpose here. Even after the angel told me that, I struggled with believing that I had a purpose still. But when I had found white magic and Wicca, I felt like I really had a freaking purpose, and it made me feel amazing and alive, you know, and I was so ready to, and I'm still ready, to start life and living and not be a slave to all of this negativity. So everything that happened to me happened way back in the day. And I say way back in the day as if, you know, I lived for a long time. But I'm only 28. I graduated in 2011. So now I am about to turn 28 in September. Hopefully this video gets up before then. So now I consider myself to be Wiccan, but I do consider myself a witch. And for those of you who don't know, let me explain very quickly. So, you have witchcraft. In witchcraft, people who practice the craft, they are considered witches. Me being into black magic and everything, I was a witch. That's something I can't erase from my past. And me also dealing with white magic now, it's still the same thing. You're a witch, you know, but you know, you have white magic, you have black magic. So with me, I am a white witch. The Wiccan portion comes into play because I don't how should I say, I don't serve the same gods that they do. I believe in the Christian God, and then I do believe in other things from other religions, and I'll get to that in a minute of everything that I believe in. So it's two different things, but Wiccans do not consider themselves witches, just to let you guys know. And I'll insert the meanings to each of those so that way you can have a better understanding of everything, because I know it's very confusing, but I'm here to explain. It's okay. So to help me stay on track and go through the whole list with you guys of everything I believe in, I had created a list. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at, so I can stay on track and not go off of that track. Okay, so the first thing, do I believe in God? And is it the same Christian God that you guys believe in, if you're Christian or whatever you are? Yes, it is. It's the same Christian God that I believe in. Goddesses. Do I believe in goddesses? Somewhat, yes. And it actually kind of plays into angels. And I say that because I believe there are people assigned to certain things, such as like Mother Nature. I believe that there is an angel who, you know, how should I explain? I believe that there is an angel, that takes care of that portion, but she gets called a goddess, but she's not one. She's an angel. So I believe in goddesses, kind of. Yes. I know it's weird, but that's just how my mind works. So, you know, like basically how you have God and he gets called Lord, you know. It's like two different things, I guess, but to some people it's all wrapped up in one. That's basically how I see angels and goddesses. I believe there's, you know, different ones for different things. So like Gabriel, he's the angel of, he's a messenger angel. Then you have Michael, who's the angel of war, whatever. But I believe like maybe they get called different things. Like, okay, he's, I don't know what to call him, but like basically like those are your gods and goddesses. Angels are. That's what I believe. So the next thing that I believe in is wanderers. What is that, you might ask? I'll tell you. Okay, so what I believe a wanderer to be is a person who was in third density, who has then graduated to fourth density, and who either has chosen or has been sent back to third density in order to help progress, either themselves or others. So for angels, I kind of already explained what I believe they are, but I guess I'll expand on that. First, for angels, I believe you have your angels who are assigned to certain things, like Mother Nature, for example. But then you have angels who are assigned to help. So, such as you have, Bath Cole. Bath Cole, she is the angel of prophecy, but she also helps with communication and animals as well. I believe myself personally is more on her level in evolving and becoming one of her, I guess, descendants angels. That's what I feel that my soul is to become. Do I believe in reincarnation? Absolutely. Yeah, I do. Okay. I've had personal experiences where, my soul feels so old and that it's been through so many things. For instance, like deja vu, past lives that I have lived. Yes, I feel all those things. And sometimes I even get messages from angels or guardian angels about my past lives that I have lived, and I've been through so many. My soul is old, okay? It is old. And that's okay, because I actually read something in one of my books before about that. It talks about reincarnation. So souls have lived so many lives because they have to learn from each of them. They have to learn from each of them in order for them to graduate to the next state, which is fourth density. So the next thing I want to talk about is empaths. I do believe in them, and I actually have a grimoire in order to help me explain this better. It's a passage that I had wrote in it, and I just want to read it to you guys real quick. So I'm so excited to share this with you that I can't think straight. So I just thought that I read my passage from my grimoire. So this is my grimoire. And this is where I want to show you my passage. So in my passage I have wrote, empaths pick up on unspoken feelings and sensations. Occasionally, even visions or memories from people, animals, places, and things. They feel these sensations as if they were their own. It can be extremely draining and frustrating, requiring them to recharge their energy, most often spending time alone or meditating. They find crowded places draining and are hyper aware. Empaths are very good listeners, and people often go to them with their problems regardless of closeness. So, what did I say earlier in this video? I'm an empath. I get so drained, and honestly I'm still scared of crowds, and I know that's different from, the magic world, but they clash and they bond together. So it makes sense as to, it makes even more sense as to why I don't like crowds. I don't know how to explain this to you guys, but whenever I am around other people, I feel them. I channel them, and I can't help it. I try to turn it off, and it's hard to turn off sometimes, especially when there's multiple people, okay? If you are not an empath, then you won't get it, basically. What I believe happens to us when we die, first, let me start off on what I used to think happens. What I used to think happens is I believed that Earth, right now, what we are in, is hell. This is our hell. There is no below the ground hell. This is our hell. And I used to think, oh, that's why there's so many demons, negative energies, and everything, evil spirits and stuff. And that's why souls are trapped here with us. And that's why we could feel them and see them. That's what I used to think. Sorry, I forgot heaven. And I used to think that there was a heaven, and if you were a good spirit, you, of course, go up to heaven. You're not here on this plane. Like, you're not on Earth anymore. you went up there. If you were good. What do I think now? Okay, so let's get into that. So what I believe happened to us now when we die goes back pretty much to wanderers, reincarnation, in our souls. And I say that because it all depends. If your soul is pretty much done living its life, then you can go ahead and graduate to the next stage. If it's not ready and you have more learning and training to do, then you're going to die and come back as a person again. And you're going to have to relive another life in order to do whatever it is that your soul has to do. Whatever you have to learn, whatever you have to complete, you have to finish it. So that's why I believe, you know, like I said earlier, souls are old. That's why I believe that. And I also do believe, because hold on, there's more to it. If you cannot progress, then that's when I believe you are that your soul, excuse me, not you in particular, but your soul, then goes to hell. And you will just be in this never-ending cycle of hell, of I don't want to say evilness, suffering. That's what I believe what happens when we die. That's what I believe now. That's everything that I have spoken about within the past like 30, 40 minutes, whatever, how long this is. That's what I believe in now. So I'm including this portion of the video because I want you guys to really understand certain symbols that you see throughout movies that they never explain. So the world of magic really gets misconstrued. Okay, so as you can see, it's the pentagram. Now, the number 5 has always been regarded as mystical and magical, yet essentially human. Okay, so what does that mean? We have 5 fingers, 5 toes on each limb, and we have 5 senses. Okay, so you have sight, but I wrote see here, hear, touch, taste, and smell. Then you also have 5 elements. Okay, water, fire, earth, air, and spirit. You also have 5 vowels. A, O, U, E, I. Okay. Then they also have meanings to them. So for water, with the vowel O, you have emotions and intuition. For fire, which is accentuated with U, you have courage and daring. With earth, you have E, which is stability and physical endurance, excuse me. Jesus Christ, endurance. Then you have air, which is with I, intelligence and arts. Then for spirit, sorry, I hit the camera there. You have all and divine, which is essentially white, the color white. Then you also have, you know, the minimalist symbols that go with them. So then you have the triangle here that has no line in it, but it's facing downward, and that's for water. Then you have fire that has a triangle as well, nothing in it, that's facing upward. Then with earth, you have the triangle with a line through it that's facing down. With air, you have the triangle that's facing upward with a line through it. Then for spirit, it's just pretty much like a wheel. I don't know if you guys can hear the rain, but it's starting to rain over here. Sorry if you can hear it in the video. I was like, what is that? But it's rain. Okay. Then the circle that is around the star, okay, is to bring everything as a whole, basically. So in rituals, or whenever you are doing something that is dealing with magic, such as spells or something, whatever it will call for, to go clockwise will be to create something. To undo a magic, such for like a banishing spell or whatever it is you're doing, you will uncreate. So you would go counterclockwise. Okay? That's what that means. And so many times, often in movies, they'll put this whole symbol there and they're like, oh, like it's evil. It's this, it's that. Excuse you. No, it's not. I'm gonna need for you to get it right, Hollywood. Okay? Like, this is what this means. Okay? It is not evil, and so many times people think it is. Okay? Another symbol that you might see that they may say is evil is the triquetra. Okay? If you have seen Charmed, it is in Charmed a lot. It's on their book of Shadows, which is another word for grimoire. Same as what I call my book, but I just want to show you guys this. I'm not showing you everything in my damn book. So anyways, so triquetra, the triple moon, is used in pagan and Wiccan teachings, okay? So you have spirit, body, and mind. Also, it is for the mother, the maiden, and the crone, okay? The triple goddesses, okay? The circle that you see that is right here, it represents the cycle of life, death and rebirth, okay? That's what that circle is. So none of this is evil, guys, okay? So please, please, please stop listening to what they portray in Hollywood movies, TV shows, etc., okay? Because it's not what you think at all, okay? If you actually took the goddamn time to find out what it is instead of just being like, oh, I don't want to mess with that, then you would know. But instead, you shun it, and it's just like, what the fuck? Okay? I want you guys to be open-minded. So to sum up everything within this video, what I want you guys to know is that depressions happen. Not all of the time is it a negative energy that's feeding. So most of the time it is, but not all of the time. Bullying. Please, please, please teach people about bullying and not to do it. Okay? Teach them that it happens in the most disgusting manners. And it could actually cause someone to want to commit suicide. I want you to know that suicide is not the answer. So please call a hotline. Go to someone. Talk to someone. Just know that you are loved. You are here for a purpose. Because for the longest time, I didn't think that, you know, I had any business being here. But we are all here for something. We just have to live life in order to find out what that is. I want you guys to know that Wicca is not bad. Most people think it is, and it's not. Black magic, on the other hand, depending on the person and how they use it, it can be extremely harmful and bad. And that I want you guys also to know that that is a part of me that is no longer existing. I would never go back to black magic. I would never perform it again. Just white magic now, and that's it. That, God, meditating, everything. Just on the good side. And I don't know. Take what you will about what I believe in. If you believe in the same thing, awesome. If you don't, then whatever. That's on you, and you're entitled to your own opinion. But don't bash me for it in the comment field. Please don't. That's rude. Because, like I said, we all are entitled to our own beliefs and what we think and how we feel. So don't do that, please. You will get deleted.